Not every profitable business is safe to buy, and some are quietly bleeding out. If you miss the signs, you'll inherit the mess. Today, I'll show you how to spot the hidden red flags, and we're going to do it in under 10 minutes. I'm EJ Bowen. I've bought, fixed, and sold businesses for over a decade, including turning one around for over 1.2 million in profit. And today, I'm going to give you the 5 red flags that I look for before I even consider buying a business. Stick with me. I'm not just going to tell you what I look for, I'm going to show you. We'll walk through a real-world listing that looks great at first glance, but gets a little sketchy when you dig a little bit deeper. Most first-time buyers think if a business is growing, it's safe, and that's totally wrong. Growth can actually hide massive risks, and that brings us to the first red flag, declining revenue. If sales are shrinking year after year, you're buying a business that's already bleeding. In this example, revenue looks strong, almost tripling over 3 years, but don't let that fool you. Ask, is this growth sustainable, or is it just one customer or one project or one good year? Okay, second red flag, owner dependency. If the owner is the business, you're not buying a company, you're buying their job. Let me show you what this looks like. So if the owner does all of the selling, all of the ops, and keeps all of the customers happy, when they're gone, it all falls apart. So always ask, if I pull the owner out of this business, what's left standing?
They're getting 80% repeat business, which sounds amazing.
But here's the catch. That's all being handled by just one salesperson. That could mean a massive untapped opportunity or a massive concentration risk if that one person leaves. You'll see a lot of client logos and pitch decks, but here's what I'm really asking. Are those brand relationships or personal ones? If the owner's buddy list is the client list, that's a problem. If that sales strategy is just cold calls and client dinners, that's not a growth engine. That's old school hustle on thin ice. Third red flag, customer concentration. If one client makes up a huge chunk of revenue, you're really walking a tightrope. So let's say you're looking at buying a business that does 1 million in revenue, and one client makes up 50% of that revenue. If you lose this one client, it could take the entire business down with it. Even with strong revenue, this kind of dependency is super risky. I've seen people sell their businesses and take their customers with them. I know it's illegal, but it happens. So you need to ask yourself, is this business surviving or just riding the one customer's loyalty? Take this one project. It literally triples the size of the pipeline. And that sounds great until you realize it's a single point of failure dressed up as growth. You might see a decent industry spread, but you got to dig into the revenue. And if 3 clients are driving most of it, that's not a customer base, that's a dependency risk. All right, fourth red flag, team or supplier instability. This one's easy to miss, but it will crush you if you ignore it. But let's go ahead and look at what a healthy small business team might look like. You've got a manager, probably someone in sales, operations, probably someone in client support or client relations. If those roles aren't clearly covered or the team is just 2 overworked people, you're walking into chaos, not a company. So you need to ask yourself, what happens if someone quits next week? Who really holds the day-to-day together? The 5th red flag, fake profit. Brokers love showing adjusted cash flow, but these add backs can hide a lot. This one shows a solid margin, but don't assume that's accurate. Always get full tax returns, real expense history, and a clear look at the owner's perks. Because profit on paper doesn't always mean profit in your pocket. The margins look really clean here, but I always want to know, what are the assumptions that are baked into that forecast? Clean spreadsheets don't necessarily mean clean operations. All right, quick recap. The 5 red flags you have to watch out for. Declining revenue, owner dependency, customer concentration, team or vendor instability, and fake profit. One red flag, probably fixable. 2 or more, you're probably buying someone else's headache. So what's the verdict on this opportunity? On the surface, it looks like a great buy. The revenue's climbing, the margins are healthy, repeat business is strong. But you have to dig deeper, and there is real risk. The business leans heavily on one salesperson. The owner is still involved, and the pro forma forecast hinges on one massive project. If you're an experienced operator and you're ready to build a sales process, you might pull in some serious upside from this. But if you're a first-time buyer, you need to dig deeper and probably negotiate harder, because the real risk is not in what's in the broker's memo, it's what's missing from it. This is where the real due diligence starts. The broker's not going to hand you the red flags. You got to dig. If you don't ask the hard questions, you'll inherit the problems they didn't think you'd catch. Want my full business buyer red flag checklist, including the exact questions to ask sellers? Download it for free using the link below. And if you're serious about buying smart and scaling fast, join my private community. We break down real listings, real risks, and real opportunities every week. The links are below. Hope to see you inside.